All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Welcome to some doom in the afternoon, and we're live on YouTube, Rockfin, and on Colin. And let's get into it. Russell Brand had 70,000 people watching him on Rumble. Great, good for him. Good for him. Good for the person who is not guilty of anything until charged. Or even actually proven guilty. I don't even think a charge is a proof of guilt. But there haven't been any charges filed and no court cases, just an accusation. That does not mean guilt. So, and there's actually a case to be made for, well, not a case. It's actually illegal to accuse somebody falsely of something. So if these accusations aren't true or real, or if there's nothing behind them or no charge behind them, wouldn't you start to assume that wouldn't you be led to assume that maybe these charges are false or politically motivated or whatever? And if that's true, shouldn't somebody be held criminally responsible for that or liable for that? Or themselves be brought up on charges? I think so. If somebody's guilty of something, then they should be tried and proven guilty. And if they're guilty, then they should be punished accordingly. But if you're accusing somebody of something and there's nothing behind it, you should be tried and should be held accountable and accordingly in a court of law. That's just, I think that's just fair. Anyways. Let's start with this from Jeff Berardelli. He says, if you're like me after the summer we've had, you're already numb to these huge spikes. This one is the biggest. But the reaction to it is underwhelming. It's unfortunate that these extremes are becoming normalized in our psyche. I wish it weren't the case, but it must be human nature. The Earth right now is far warmer than the previously measured record for this time of year. Even with a growing El Nino, the pace and size of the uptick that we've seen this year is pretty shocking. I mean, here it is. That is pretty wild. Again, we saw these ticks in the summertime, and people were like, "What?" Faces were melting. Sharp breaths were drawn, and yet it continues. Where does it go from here? Nobody knows. Is it going to go to the Fenrir, to the Sam Carana, 4C by next summer? Maybe. I mean, it could. It could. If you keep predicting something every year, eventually it's probably going to be right. As long as you're around long enough to keep predicting it. Anyways. Well, let's move over to the Democratic Party is going to see this, run Biden anyway, and then blame the left if he loses, right? Blame the third party candidate. Blame the Cornel West. Blame the RFK Juniors. Of course. Trump leads Biden by 10 points in a newly released national poll of the 2024 presidential race, a departure from recent surveys showing a closer context. Oh, my. But hey, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I called this a long time ago. I called this right after the election in 2020. Not long after I said, hey, guess what? Trump's going to run again. He's going to win, and everybody's heads. It's going to be an even bigger head explosion than it was in 2016, right? Because it's like, oh my God, oh, he's back again. Oh my God. Right. They're just trolling you, y'all. They're just trolling you. They want to see the biggest head explosions ever. They want people running around like, I don't know what's happening. Everything is just crazy. And Trump's president again. Oh my God. Like, right? They love it. They love it. They love everybody. Like, what is going on? It's because it's easier to just tell you things and it's just an easier shoehorn into your brainwashing. If you're completely like, what is happening? I don't know. Trump's is president and there's a pandemic and oh my God, the world is falling apart. Well, do exactly as we tell you and everything will be fine. What's up, Brady? I'm going to take calls at the later in the show, man. If you want to call back, I appreciate. I see you. I see you there. I just want to get through some articles, but I would love to hear what you have to say. They're openly gloating about rigging the primaries to ensure a historically unpopular candidate who's pulling 10 percentage points behind Trump is locked in as a nominee. Sure. Wasn't there a commentator on MSNBC or CNN or one of those places when way back in the hazy, crazy, lazy days of 2019 or 2020, when Bernie was mounting a challenge, and so, I can't remember who it was. Anyway, somebody on the televisions said, well, Bernie is a real threat to our democracy. Frankly, if it was between Bernie and Trump, I'm going to go Trump. Oh, well, see, that tells you that shows you something. That's a tip of the hand right there, isn't it? Ain't it? Ain't it grand when they tip the hand? Not only that, I think 60% of Democrats want someone else to be the nominee. They don't. Not a lot of Democrats have. This is not. The Post is not about that. This Post is about something else. 60% of Democrats. Let's see. Think Biden should not be the person. Let's see if I can find it. I meant to find it before the show. Let's see. Oh, this is old. Why are you showing me old stuff? Oh, this is not helping. Anyways, 60% of Democrats do not want Biden to be the nominee. That shows some flagging support, doesn't it? Anyways, but this is interesting as well from Glenn Greenwald. Democrats are also super authoritarian because, when threatened with fascism, the only way you can respond is with fascism. As the old saying goes, that's not an old saying. That's actually stupidity. If you want to get rid of fascism, what you need is some fascism. Glenn Greenwald, poll after poll shows that significant majorities of Democrats or U.S. liberals strongly favor both corporate control and state control of political speech online, both in the name of stopping hate speech and disinformation. Because everybody has been adequately brainwashed that it's the bad speech online, guys. It's the bad speech online. That's why Trump was elected, right? They were fed that line. They believe that line. Trump is literally Hitler or Putin or, loves Putin. all that dumb stuff. And and here we are. And then again, if you have people, just clucking chickens in a cage, like, what's happening? I don't know. Somebody help me. Somebody save me from all the bad people and all the bad things. Then you'll just believe anything they tell you. Anyways. It's because the hate speech. The hate speech is so bad. The hate speech, they hate you. Hate speech and disinformation, which the FBI and DHS will benevolently decide. Stunning numbers among Dems in RCOR's new poll on free speech and censorship. 47% of Dems say free speech should be legal only under certain circumstances. Only when it's the speech we like. Okay, that's not free speech. 34% of Dems say Americans have too much freedom. That might be right. That might be true. 75%, I was just kidding. 75% of Dems say government has a responsibility to censor. 75%. 75% say government has a responsibility to censor hateful social media posts. Wow. But what's hateful? Well, anything you don't like, of course, right? Anything that goes against what you believe in is hateful. Only 31% strongly disagree with the statement. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Only 31% strongly agree. Well, those 31% actually have brains that are working. They have some brain cells. They're rubbing together. They're working, they're oiled up. They're ready to go. They're ready to think. Those people, at least thank God for the 31% who believe that you have the right to say and think what you want in a democratically free society. Please, yes, like up the video. Hello, Rockfinners. How are you? Hello. Denver, Gene, Osama, William, Urban, people, Earth people. That's right, Caleb. Anti-war is hate speech. You hate us so much, you want to stop killing people in other places. Sounds legit. Sounds about right. I'm sorry if I upset the people that call in early on call in. I just can't. I don't know. I just have things to cover, and it tends to knock me off course really quickly if people call in early. So try and hold your calls for later in the show. Jazz Farm says, we don't need censorship. We need to re-educate the populace and teach critical thinking. Sure. 45% of the country reads at less than a 6th grade level, which makes them very susceptible to anything you tell them on the TV or social media, right? When you have those paid TikTok influencers that run around telling you what to think, and then you censor all the people that you disagree with on TikTok, yeah, well, then it's pretty easy to convince people that what you have to say is the right thing to think, right? But how about open debate? I mean, the reason why they're censoring people is because people are too aware of what's going on. That's the problem. They're afraid of an educated populace. So they're afraid of exactly the thing that you are calling for, Jazz Farm. they're afraid people might be educated. Social media and the internet has allowed people to share information to the point at which they become, too educated to fall for the lesser of two evils. Which one is worse? The people in charge really care about you, while they're taking away all your stuff. People are becoming too smart for that. That's their problem. That's why they have to turn all of that stuff into hate speech, right? Anybody who questions the narrative, anybody who watches like a Jimmy Dore or Russell Brand or somebody who's questioning the narrative, anybody who's watching those guys, it's hate speech, right? Got to censor it. It's not hate speech. It's just knowledge, information, education. People are perfectly capable of educating themselves and gathering knowledge about all kinds of things. And sometimes people get wrong knowledge. Oh my God. It's not the worst thing in the world. There is actually I think there's a validity to the idea of like the hive mind, or, people sharing things freely, right? Sharing information freely. Yeah, people will get the wrong ideas. People sometimes will get the wrong ideas, but what happens is you sift. There's a sifting of all the information, and what generally rises to the top is, understanding and acknowledgement about what's really going on. That generally is what rises to the top if people are allowed to freely exchange ideas. That's what happens. Generally. But you can't get there unless you allow the wrong ideas to be in there too. You can't get there unless there's a free exchange of ideas. You just can't get there. If you start censoring things, and we know where this goes. I don't even have to state the I don't have to go down the road of the obvious. It's so obvious, bro. Come on. It's totally right there in front of your face, bro. Gene Whitworth says, respond to fascism with its opposite, local, direct democracy. Sure. Open debate, open forums. Right? What if things were decided upon by direct, city council meetings, right? The city council is going to decide on this very important measure, but we're going to open the floor to comments from the public. How about open the floor to just votes? How about you go to your city council meeting and you vote directly about the thing that they're going to pass? And a whole bunch of people show up and go, nope. And they're forced to pass it in the way that the voters requested. How about that? I would like something like that. Denver says open debate isn't allowed because it's not controllable. Did you all see that the Canadian Parliament cheered on an actual member, former member of the Waffen SS? And now they're trying to backtrack it. They're trying to say, well, we didn't know, or we weren't responsible for booking this guy on the. Apparently this guy is Ukrainian, right? Let's listen to this.
98.
But so Zelensky and Trudeau, while Zelensky or Zelensky or however you want to say it, is in Canada doing whatever he's doing, going on his book tour, booking some more donations. They cheer on this guy. I'm sorry. This particular post doesn't give me a lot of information. I forget his name. Where is it? can't find it. There were, anyways, they cheer this man who
his name
is an actual former
and I was
Waffen
in the
SS
gallery, but I think
soldier.
he beat me to that. But I'm very proud to say that he is from North Bay and from my riding of Nipissing-Temiskaming.
They gave him 2 standing ovations.
He's a Ukrainian hero, a Canadian hero, and we thank him for all his service. Thank you.
He's a Ukrainian and Canadian hero. Anyways, like this is becoming this has become a big whoopsie. A big whoopsie. They're trying to walk it back, and people are like, and all the hilarious thing is all the context posts that I've seen on Twitter around this are like, no, this guy was actually in the part of the SS, the Waffen SS. He was a soldier in the SS. He was an actual card carrying, meant to be there, a Nazi. And nobody vetted this, nobody vetted this whole event before this happened, which actually a lot of people are kind of incredulous about, right? They're like, yeah, really? They were like, oh, we didn't know? Okay, really? Oh, oopsie, we just didn't know who this guy was or his past, whatever. Anyways. This is an interesting thing that happened. And people have questions. Yaroslav, okay. Hold on a second, y'all. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Do you need me to reset the audio and visuals out of sync? Maybe. Okay. That's funny. I don't know what's happening. Is it still out of sync, or is it back in sync, or I don't know. Mic is popping. All right, hold on. Check. All right. Is this back on? Can you guys can you hear me okay? Sorry. It must be that nobody's paying attention to Black Bear News. That must be why that's happening. Because I'm small fry. Small time. All right. Cool. Cool. Denver said he was good because he had to fight the Russians during World War II. Maybe historically forgetting that we were kind of finding the same guys. Yeah, oh, free squeeze hashtag. Okay. All right. So, lots of crazy, wacky, wild, goofy weather going on. This is in New Jersey. Whoops. So they're getting a lot of Ophelia. Storm Surge. Wait. Hold on a second. That's fun. Watch out there. Let's see. This is in Texas. Large, I think, like baseball-sized hailstones. Softball size, even bigger. Munched a bunch of cars. Darn it. The cars get it first. The cars, we need equity for the cars. The cars are experiencing climate change first. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be offensive. I know that people that in economically challenged people and people in poor neighborhoods get hit by climate change first. But God dang it, these cars are getting it good. There's always the cars in these pictures. Cars. Are there more cars than people in the world? I wonder. No, I don't think so, but there's a lot of cars in the world. This is in where is this? Thailand. This is in South Africa, Cape Town. Cape Province, South Africa. This guy is actually going to try and push his car. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, maybe you can Hulk smash it, but yeah, good luck with that, sir. That was funny to me. Oh, push this car out the flood. I don't think so. I don't think that car is going anywhere. More South African flooding. Yikes. Get zoinks. This is, you might hear on Scooby-Doo. Tim. Tim. That is funny. And that is also not just friendly, but that's hilarious. Damn it. Don't make me do that while I have coffee in my mouth. Okay. That is ridiculous, man. Okay. I mean, for Bobby Davis, and I think we could have guessed this. People could have guessed this. That blue hydrogen is not very green. U.S. could be understating global warming impact of blue hydrogen. Okay, tell me something I probably should have been able to guess. That the technologically green answer for using fossil fuels was not going to be green. I am, knock me over with a feather. Could be understating the global warming impact of blue hydrogen. I mean, And we know this. We know that green technologies, as they exist, are not very green. Not saying they can't exist, and it'd be cool if they did. But wake me up when that happens. Sure. Protesters in the Netherlands are getting a beat down from the cops. Of course, this proves that climate change is false. Or it's climate change is a big scam, and these guys are all paid by the bad people. That's why they're hosing them down with high pressure water hosers, and also nose clipping them. Yeah, dang, that sounds painful. Nose clips. Rebellion protesters were held down with nose clips by the police. Yeah, that sounds harsh. We want you to take climate change seriously, but if you get out there and block roads and actually disrupt things and piss people off, well, then we're going to take you to jail. So only as seriously as we want you to take it, which is not at all, right? I think I saw, I just ran out of space or bandwidth to talk about how bad the Biden administration is, but I ran across another set of facts, post. The Biden administration is responsible for more drilling of oil than even Trump, right? And we knew that. That's not a surprise either. So, we got to take climate change real seriously, but only as serious as we take it. If you actually take it seriously, or if you actually get out there and protest, or block streets or block roads or block doorways to banks, or if you lock yourself to. If you actually get out there and protest, well, then we're gonna knock you over the head, okay? And we're gonna take you to jail, and we're gonna label you a domestic terrorist. So only as serious as we want you to take it. Across the world, governments are becoming more repressive against peaceful climate protests. Of course they are, because they actually don't want you to protest. They actually want the government to do something about climate change, or to, at least acknowledge it in reality. Again, the conundrum is a difficult one, because the governments can't do anything about climate change, because that would be acknowledging. It would have to acknowledge that our entire economic system is the thing that's causing climate change, and then where does that leave anybody? It's a hard one for humans to understand. I get it. Humans have a hard time contemplating that one. I get it. But, that doesn't mean it's going to stop or go away because you stop contemplating it or decided nah, maybe not today. Maybe I'll think about this one tomorrow. Right now, my brain hurts. I guess they're spraying for mosquitoes in Paris too. Of course, this has got to be completely non-toxic pesticide that's not going to hurt any other insects or animals or plants or people or babies or mothers breastfeeding. It's not going to hurt anybody. I'm sure of it. Positive. This is well-tested pesticides. Paris fumigates for tiger mosquitoes as pest spreads in Europe. And they're carrying disease, these tiger mosquitoes. Yeah, really? Are they? Are they really? Well, disease must be wiped out. If it's a choice between insects that we need to carry on a living biosphere and disease that might affect people, well, guess what? Guess where we're going with? Those insects got to go. Sorry. The humans were more, or the disease that was going to kill everybody was more important to ward against. Somewhere in there, I don't know. Somewhere there's some kind of pretzel logic in there somewhere. I don't know what. But this is what we do. It's just what we do. It's kind of like fighting wars or drilling for oil. It's like, well, yeah, we really are concerned about having a livable planet. But first thing we got to do is make sure that everybody has gas to put in their cars and heat their homes. And then we'll worry about a livable planet. Well, first thing we got to do is worry about this war that we're fighting, because this is really important for democracy and the whole world. But then we'll worry about the planet after that. Okay? First we got to win this war. Because the bad guys are coming. There's bad people out there, bad men out there. They're coming. And they're going to destroy the planet if we don't beat them up in this war that we're fighting. Something like that. I don't know. Tim Scott said, if you strike, you're fired. Sounds like a good card-carrying Republican to me. I mean, what's the issue here? That's what he was elected to say. He was elected to say stuff like that. He's a Republican. He also might be a white supremacist. Go figure on that one. He probably is a white supremacist. Anyways, the UAW filed a complaint that Scott's utterance violated federal labor law under the National Labor Relations Act, and it did. But, we don't care about your rights, really. At the end of the day, your rights, or, your right to a livable planet, or your right to breathe the clean air, yeah. Your right to strike, your right to a livable wage, your right to health care. None of those things are really all that important. Shoot, I got to get off YouTube and go finish the rest of the show on Rockfin. That's what I got to do. Before I do that, I'm going to let you know that if you would like to support the show. Oh, you know what? I forgot to, Scott Andrews bought me couple cups of coffee on the Black Bear News Buy Me a Coffee page. Thank you, Scott Andrews. I appreciate it. And that is a way that you can support the show. buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews, or Cash App at Red Llama Music, or Venmo at Kevin Sandblum, or PayPal.me/Kevin Sandblum, or you can do Patreon or Super Chat Me or Super Ray Me. All right. So, YouTubers, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for hanging out. Until next time.